Welcome to Journey Unfolding with Millicent. I am your host, Millicent Kongwa. As we know that this month, it is a Cancer Awareness Month. So we've decided here at Journey Unfolding to do it the other way around, to get a family member who was affected with cancer. One of their loved ones was diagnosed with cancer, and now she will be taking us through the journey of how did they cope as a family through this journey. Help me welcome on studio my guest, Mrs. Shabangu. Welcome to Journey Unfolding with Millicent.
Thank you so much for welcoming me, Millicent. It's an honor to be on your show.
Wow, thank you, and you look so nice, bubbly, lovely.
Thank you so much, Millie. You're also looking splendid.
Thank you very much. Now, we are here also Itumeleng because you are here to share us your journey of Oswaha, who was diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
And it was cancer of the lung.
Yes.
So can you please take us through that journey, Hore? How did it start? Yes. How did you find out Hore also how only cancer? Yeah.
Yes.
Please take us through that journey.
All right then. Thank you very much to the viewers. The journey started, I learned later that lung cancer is one of the 5 cancers that affect women. But it started. She was a bubbly person. She was a loving person. And one day she would cough, each year she would cough. She would cough blood sometimes, and she would go to the health facility, and then they would test for pneumonia or TB and then find that it is negative. They would give her treatment, she would get better, but the following year it would be the same. She would have this terrible cough, a terrible flu. And she would even lie down for days. That's how it started. But when she went to the health facility, it would be that checking TB, and pneumonia, give her treatment, she's feeling much better. That's how it started when we look at her journey, through that. And then one day she now started to have extreme headaches, and then she was admitted in a hospital. Because of that extreme headache. So that's where they would start, because there's a problem in her head. Then they did scans to see what could be the cause of this headache. And then they found that there's nothing on the brain. She was coughing a little bit, and when she's coughing, that headache would be worse. Okay, they said, let's do the lung x-ray. When they did the lung x-ray, they found that there's some growths on her right lung. Okay, they would have to do investigations. Okay, they took it to a secondary level hospital, and where tests were done extensively. They did the scans and all that, and then she had to ultimately do a biopsy, which is the ultimate diagnosis for cancer.
So can you just hold it right there? So now they did the test for the lung.
Yes.
That's when they detected it.
That's when they detected it.
Okay. And took you in for biopsy.
Yes, it was in October 2014 when she went to collect her results, and then the news came, and I was with her. The news came to say that it is cancerous.
And how was she? How did she react?
She was very emotional. She was very emotional. And I tried to be strong for her.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you as to how was you, this is your sister, come on.
Yes. Could have been. For me, I just felt that I cannot break down with her. I need to be stronger than she is, to be a strong support system. Yes. So I held myself not to break down with her. I gave her hope to tell her that, I'm sure something can be done. Exactly. At the time the growth was still small, so the doctors thought they'll just operate and it will just be okay. Okay.
So when you say the growth was small, there are more stages of cancer, 1 to 4. So at which stage, which means she was still on the lower stage?
I was not aware per se at the time what stage it was, but that's what they told us, that it's still basically so small enough that they can just operate and remove it. But before you can go into theater, test needs to be done, blood needs to be withdrawn, given a follow-up date for them, the doctors, to discuss because they were shocked to see a 33, she was 33 at the time, to see a 33-year-old who doesn't have smoking history, who doesn't have a history of secondary smoking with lung cancer, and obviously professors and all that would want to sit down and discuss which route should they take,
And before
journey.
Okay, down before that, after you find out, how did you break the news, Lona Kontlong?
Okay, we did go back home and we did tell my mom, but she wasn't staying with my mom. She's staying at her own place. Okay. So we did disclose, and we were hopeful. We were very hopeful, saying that we'll hold her hand, we'll go through the journey with her. We know that there is treatment. Though at the time, I'm a professional nurse, but though at the time I wasn't so informed a lot about cancer, and it is surprising. It was such a surprise to get that. Result, it became a surprise to all of us, because it is still somehow there's a myth out there that it affects mostly white people,
not black.
Yes, not black people.
All right.
So yes.
Viewers at home, in case you didn't know, lung cancer is one of the top 5 cancers, high-risk cancers, that affect women in South Africa. It's not all about breast cancer, although we do an awareness. We are in an awareness month of breast cancer, which is October. And sometimes we really don't take heed or check the signs and the symptoms of lung cancer in our bodies. So make sure that you don't go anywhere, because we will be talking about more on this, as my guest here, she will be teaching us as to how to check for symptoms and how to take care of ourselves, the treatment that we can get if one should find themselves diagnosed with cancer. Please make sure that you don't go anywhere. We will be right back just after this. Welcome back. You are still tuned to Journey Unfolding with Millicent. I am your host, Millicent Gongwa, and I'm still sitting with my beautiful queen here, Osis Itumeleng. Osis Itumeleng lost her sister because of lung cancer, and she will be taking us through that journey of how did they cope as family. And as a professional nurse as well, she will be teaching us and empowering us as to what is lung cancer, how can you see it, the signs and symptoms of it, and to see if ever maybe if it was diagnosed in an early stage, is there any way that you can be helped, and the later stage of it, what treatment should one take in that regard? Itumeleng,
yes, absolutely.
You lost your sister because of this,
yes.
the lung cancer specifically.
Yes.
And now we just want to find out, seeing Ababukeli and myself, what is lung cancer?
Okay. Lung cancer, the lungs are... There's the right lung and there's the left lung. There's alveolars, there's, it can affect any of those, the lobes or the alveoli, and that is what lung cancer is.
Okay.
And yes.
So is it a certain cell that affects the lungs, or what is it?
Yes, it's going to be in the lungs.
Okay.
Yes,
Specifically
that's why, yes, that abnormal cell will be in the lungs. Okay. Either on the right lobe, the left lobe, or both lobes, or, the alveoli where air is trapped and released, as we breathe in and out, it depends. It can affect any cell on the lungs. Oh. So it's specifically called lung cancer because it is on the lung areas of our body.
And now, what symptoms are there? What must one look out for to say, okay, fine, maybe now I might be having lung cancer? What symptoms are there of cancer?
Generally, in cancer, we look at persistent symptoms. Okay. Something that persists. Like, remember when I was talking about her journey or her process in her being diagnosed. She would get a persistent symptom of coughing, blood, and some of the signs also could be hoarseness of voice, we must also remember that, with cancer, unfortunately, it is painless. You don't look out for pain first, because usually when you have pain, it is usually progressed. So you might be having symptoms that you are able to live with, having a flu, being treated, you are able to live with that, you become
until
better,
it gets to that extreme stage.
Yes, you become better. So she would also have, some of the signs that we need to look out for is that persistent cough, coughing blood, sometimes even hoarseness of voice, sometimes even shortness of breath, and it can come and intermittently. It's there and then it goes away, and then it's there, it goes away. A persistent symptom would be some of the signs to say that something could be wrong. Yes, and
it is, I believe it is important that immediately when you get that, just go to the doctor and check yourself out.
Yes.
And with the history as well, I when we were talking, you said that there is a history at home of cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, can you take us just through that?
All right. Yes. We all, I think the viewers also know that cancer, it can be hereditary. You can get it from the family. Once there is a gene of cancer in the family, you are more prone to having cancer, meaning that you are becoming at high risk of developing cancer. So it's very much important that when you see such things and you know your history, even when you go to a doctor, you lead them, you tell them. Remember, a doctor won't know that you're having history unless you present that to them and say that, you know what, I have 2 uncles that passed away from cancer, I have 2 grandmothers, or I have a grandmother that had breast cancer, and what have you. Then they'll be able to say, oh, maybe we should check for cancer, instead of just thinking that it's just pneumonia or TB, So if you are leading them also well, because you know your history, that's why it's very important that we should know where we come from, so that, even when you go to a health facility, you also give them that information so that they can be able, it can guide them on which route they can look into your symptoms for.
All right. And with her, it was different, because with other the family members who passed on because of cancer, it was a different kind of cancer.
Yes.
And now here she is with this lung cancer.
Yes.
And whereas, as you said, that she was not smoking, she was not even on a secondary list of people who could get affected with or diagnosed with cancer.
She didn't have secondary smoking exposure.
Yes. Okay. Now, you told Umama and the support structure from your side to her. How was it?
Okay. Basically, we would also check up on her more often. We were close. We were very close with my sister. So when she was going for her treatment, I would accompany her to the treatment. And to my amazement, when I got there, I saw so many black people in Johannesburg, Joburg General Hospital. There were so many black people diagnosed with cancer getting treatment. She had to undergo through chemotherapy, which is one of the treatments for cancer, where you get a medication. To the purpose of chemotherapy is to shrink the cancer cells, so that later on maybe they can be able to remove the cells. So there's different types of treatment for cancer. Yes.
Welcome back to Journey Unfolding with Millicent. You are still sitting with me, your host Millicent Kongwa, and I've got my beautiful guest here, Itumeleng Shabangu. Itumeleng,
yes.
Your sister, when she was diagnosed with this cancer, was it found still in early stages, or which stage was it?
Okay. I believe it was in the early stages, because that's what the doctors said to her, that it's still very small, so we can operate on it and just remove it, and we'll take it from there, you know. But you know the process of things being done, you know. It's not like you'll come today, tomorrow, and then they do the operation. They still need to investigate further, you know, to see where is it affecting, you know, because the following visit she had was that, you know what, we've done, we've checked the cancer, but it is affecting the major blood vessels, so it will be very risky for us to operate on it now, you know. So we'll take you to another level of hospital. You'll get chemotherapy to try to shrink it, and then if it has shrunk to a size that we feel it is safe for us to operate, then that's when we can operate.
Is it curable?
It can
not only the
be
lung
removed.
cancer, but the cancer as a whole. Is it a disease that is curable?
It can. There's three different ways that it can be treated. It can be surgically removed, meaning that whatever cells that are cancerous can be just removed, you know, so that they don't spread further, you know. And then another way is that of chemotherapy. They give you treatment to try to distract the cells from growing any further and try to shrink them. And there's the other one, which is radiation, where it is specifically towards the abnormal cells, also to try to distract them from growing further, you know. Or if they've maybe removed the cancer, then around the area where the cancer was, then radiation can be done just to trap it or to distract it from growing any further. Those are the three treatments that we have that for cancer in our country.
So please just take us like deeper into this. Now with the treatment, they've removed it and everything. So if the radiation, the chemotherapy is done, and the one where they cut it off, now must I be sure now that, okay, fine, I am cured for cancer? Must I be relaxed now and say, okay, fine, they removed it wherever it was, and then now I'm fine?
Okay. If they have removed it and they've told you that they don't see any cancer anywhere in your body, because they'll do the systematic checkup to say that it hasn't spread, you know. And if they have done that and they tell you that we do not see any cancer anymore, you must also just remember that because you've had cancer, then it means that you are at high risk of developing another type of cancer. It might not come back as a lung cancer anymore, or it might not come back again as a breast cancer. You might find that now it comes back as a lung cancer when you had breast cancer and all that, you know, because now you've been at risk of, you've been exposed to cancer cells, so that that will put you at risk of developing another type of cancer. So we need to always be cautious. Early signs, we need to be aware of early signs, you know. Any change in your body, when your colon changes, you having more diarrhea now, you know, often, and when you're having diarrhea, maybe there's blood in your stool, you know, you're having cramps from time to time, you know, that don't go away, and all that. Any persistent cough, you know, any persistent symptom, we need to be cautious of that, you know. So when you've been exposed, you need to just be cautious, and they'll probably say that maybe once a year or once every 3 years come for evaluations and checkups.
How important is it to check our lifestyle and our wellness? Like, how important is it, and when must really one start really being cautious of what we eat, how we live our lives, you know? How important is that in one's life?
Yes, it's very much important to know what we put in our bodies. Remember, this is your body. You'll have it just once. You'll have it just once. Yes. So we need to take care of our bodies. We need to make sure that even from an early stage, obviously kids follow their parents' way of life, you know. So from an early age, you know, if you are taught at home that you're eating fatty foods, you know, eating acidic food, as you know, you're eating takeaways all the time that are not done properly, you know, fatty foods and all that. That's how you'll grow up as well, you know. It's very much important, because there's foods also, we all know, Sugar. Too much sugar is bad for us because sugar makes us even obese. Obesity is bad. It puts you at risk of other illnesses like cardiac diseases and hypertension, cholesterol and all that. We need to be cautious of our bodies. We need to eat healthier. Our vegetables, our fruits, and our source of proteins, which can also be found in meat and all that.
Also, Itumeleng, you know what, it's so sad that we have to leave,
come to an end
of this beautiful
the whole day.
Exactly, definitely. This very, you know what, I've learned so much on today's episode. And now, what are your parting words to the viewers at home, to us? What is it that you can say to those who are watching? You know what, with cancer, it's like any other disease anyway. You are either affected or infected.
Yes.
So what can you say to our viewers at home who are either affected or infected?
All right, then. There is help out there. There's people who care, who wants to assist you. There's associations that are out there, like your Cancer Association of South Africa. You can check and look into their website. There's more information that you can get on research also that is done and all that. There's also different organizations that are there. There's counselors as well. Our department also has help that you can get. So it's very much important that we get clued up of such information, that there is help out there. You don't need to feel alone through this journey. So there is people out there who are willing to help, and ultimately also you've also embarked on that. We are very grateful that you have invited me. I'm very grateful that you have invited me so that viewers can also have information. It's platforms like these that are very, very much helpful. So pertaining to cancer, we just need to remember that persistent symptoms, if you're having something that keeps on coming back, when you go back maybe for the third or the fourth time, ask, can't we check for cancer? It's your body, it's your right as well to lead the health professionals. Even if there's no history or things like that, remember also our lifestyles also puts us at risk. It's very much important that when you're having that, a sore that doesn't heal, something that just keeps on coming back over and over again, ask. It's very much important also.
Wow. Thank you very much, Itumeleng, for this informative, we really, like I was saying, I've learned a lot. And again, let's remember, guys, this is our bodies. Let's take care of it. And at the end of the day, our body, as we know, the Bible says that our body, it is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Until we meet again next week, same place, here at Journey Unfolding with Millicent. May you have a wonderful, blessed week. Shalom.